on me, so I'm going to try and pick up, hopefully, where I left off. So we were looking at B, and I said, yes, they are congruent, but the transformations going to be a little more difficult. Now, I am going to just, and this is just what works for me, that there might be more than one option. I'm going to rotate it a little bit this way, 90 degrees, in fact, right? 90 degrees counterclockwise, which would make it sit up here like this. And I'd have that box down here and this box right here. Well, sort of a little bit higher, and then reflect it. So I'm going to say rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise and reflect right. All right, and that maybe not be what you did. You might have done something a little bit different, but there's generally, there can be more than one way to do it. All right, so we are on to the back. That is the gist of the lesson, is just being able to explain using transformations. This is kind of cool. I took this right out of the textbook. If you can check their orientation, it sometimes gives you what is happening. Okay, if the orientation, the length is the same and the orientation is the same, then it's a translation. You see how it's in the same spots, they've just slid to the right. Okay, well, if the length is the same but the orientation is reversed, somewhere in there they did a reflection. And then if the length is the same and orientation is the same, they're saying it's a rotation. So just looking for that. There is more in the textbook. There's more examples of that, and it's kind of cool. Okay, so I just wanted to check that, and so that I referenced it, and you can always double check in your textbook as well. All right, so we're going to continue doing this. Now, in these examples, they're taking images that are already done, and they're saying, hey, you know, did a transformation take place? Is P congruent to D? And, you know, in this case, yes. Now, they're very specific. They actually put a point in there and then talk about a rotation. I'm not going to be that specific because it's different a lot of times. So I would have, you know, translation, reflection, rotate, you know, but what does have to say, they do have to say 180 degrees. I'm not so worried about you putting a point and being specific about that, but the degrees in that rotation would have to be the same. All right, so very similar question. Let's go down to slide number 7. We've got, I don't know, waste management, maybe? Management waste. I'm not sure what the M and the W stand for. Okay, so what transformations could be used if the letter W, so here's where we started, all right, and it translates to M. That's going to be one of the things that catches you. Make sure you're paying attention. If they tell you which one is the pre-image, you have to be specific about that in your transformations. So, you know, I would say, if I imagine just a dot right here, I'm just going to say 180 degree rotation. Okay, I would say yes, 180 degree rotation. Now notice I didn't say a specific direction. I don't have to with 180. Remember that? Whether you rotate it clockwise or counterclockwise, if you rotate it a half a turn, it's going to end up in the same spot. Now some people might say, you know, about a point and then translate. You know, let's say if I would have put the point here, then I would have had to translate it down afterwards, and I'm not going to count that wrong if you do that. So just know that it may be a little bit different. All right, let's look at 1 and 2 down here on the bottom half of this slide. Determine if the two figures are congruent by using transformations. Always using transformations, rotations, reflections, translations. Okay, explain your reasoning. So check out number 1. We've got LMN and XYZ. I'm going to assume that LMN is my pre-image because, well, it comes first in the alphabet. Okay, so I'm going to say that they are yes, but there is more than one way to do this. There is more than one way. We are going to I would say you could probably reflect it down and translate it to the right. That would definitely be one. Right. Now, if you were thinking something else, there is a different one, I'm pretty sure. How many of you looked at that and saw a 180-degree rotation? So there is definitely a 180-degree rotation as well. All right. Number 2, what do we think about number 2? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say, once again, rotating. Remember, 90 degrees, not percent, sorry, 90 degrees counterclockwise, and then translate. Right. All right. Come over here. Let's do a couple more. How about number 1 on here? Just determine if they're congruent. The cool part about number 1 is if your answer is no, you are done. Move on. They are not the same shape. So that's it. Okay, how about number 2? I would say yes. And again, more than one way to do this. If I said 90 degrees counterclockwise and then translate over, right and down. Maybe you could translate it 90 degrees clockwise and then reflect it. So more than one way. So obviously I will be correcting your papers because, again, more than one possible answer. All right, so you have a pink worksheet to be done. Remember to be as specific as you can. I'm never going to count it wrong if it's too specific, all right? But if you're really, really, really vague, I may not give you full credit. So whatever you can say, be specific, make sure you get all your points. Some of the questions get a little tricky in terms of the way they're worded. Please make sure you ask me if you have any questions. All right, good luck. We'll see you later.